It is an idyllic island paradise where life maintains a delicate balance.
Palawan natives know the trick of the sea cucumber. Their gooey discharge forms makeshift shoes to shield him from the sharp surfaces of the coral.
It's a world of remarkable relationships beneath the waves.
Mantas, perhaps plagued by parasites, know that small fish waiting here will ease their discomfort by removing the pests.
The Living Edens, Palau, Sunday, 7:30.
Surprise Mum with something special from your ABC Shop Mother's Day catalogue. There's Romance in Pearl Bay with the latest Sea Change video and CD. A Judi Dench double with Her Majesty Mrs. Brown and As Time Goes By. Alan Bennett's Talking Heads audio cassettes and book. Country Passion with Gina Jeffrey's Somebody's Daughter video and CD pack. A dynamic duo with Judy Kennelly and Suzanne Johnston's Perfect Strangers CD. And Ballet at its finest with the Don Quixote video, DVD and CD. Your ABC Shop Mother's Day catalogue is available now from all ABC shops and ABC centres.
Gets on his favourite left foot. Oh, another one tipped around. And look at that for a finish. World class.
Check out all the National Soccer League final action when South Melbourne clash with Sydney United, Sunday at 5.
Hello and welcome to Big On Sport. Today we'll feature an interview with embattled Olympic board member Phil Coles, who's resisted calls this week to step down. But first, let's see what's been making headlines recently. Sir Alf Ramsey, the man who led England to their only World Cup victory in 1966, died this week at the age of 79. The 4-2 win over Germany is regarded as one of England's greatest sporting moments. In Aussie rules, Sydney played host to a determined Fremantle Dockers at the SCG. Plugger returned for the Swans and went 5 goals closer to breaking Gordon Coventry's record. He was also reported for wrestling and fined $4,500 for his trouble. Locally, Showdown 5 was a one-sided affair with the Crows emerging victors by 28 points. Matthew Robran fought off a virus scare earlier in the week to top score with 5 goals. In the National Soccer League, Adelaide City played out a 0-0 draw with Perth Glory at home. The Zebras were unlucky, missing several chances at goal. The teams play the second leg of the elimination final at the Wacker tonight. The World Cup Triathlon was held in the Harbour City with Australians Greg Bennett and Michaeli Jones taking out gold medals in their respective events. Stuart Appleby won the Houston Open with the final round of 71.
And he does. Super shot. Only a couple closer than that all day. Going to break right to left. He played it straight. Beautiful putt.
It was his first major win in the state since tragically losing his wife last year. In Formula One, Ferrari's Michael Schumacher won the San Marino Grand Prix. The early stages of the race saw the two McLarens in the lead until Mika Hakkinen hit a spot of trouble. David Coulthard was let down by a slow pit stop. Schumacher is currently on top of the championship table. The Australian cricket team arrived in England in readiness for the 7th World Cup, Steve Waugh having been served with a writ over comments he made following the bottle pelting incident in Barbados. Bad boy Shane Warne was only talking cricket after being caught out puffing on a cigarette following his deal to stop smoking.
I just enjoy the cricket here, I enjoy the conditions. A little bit tough for spin bowlers, but so because it's tough, I like to try and prove that wrong. So, you know, that sort of gives me an extra challenge, which I'm looking forward to in this World Cup.
And in horse racing, Great Eastern winning team Planet Hollywood and Jim Houlihan won the Grand Annual Steeplechase at Warrnambool. It was a messy and dangerous affair with riderless horses running amok.
Sensation upon sensation.
But the biggest story of the week was the revelation by the ABC that Salt Lake City had received a secret dossier compiled by embattled SOCOG board member Phil Coles. The dossier contained detailed notes on International Olympic Committee members. Sydney Games chiefs John Coates and Sandy Holloway joined calls for Mr Coles to quit his $50,000 a year position on the board, but the former Olympic kayaker was standing firm. And the ABC's Olympic reporter Kevin Wild, who broke that story, caught up with Phil Coles for an exclusive interview. Here's what he had to say.
Phil Coles, thanks for your time. How did these documents end up in Salt Lake City?
I wish I knew, but having seen the documents just now, I'm maybe starting to get a little clearer picture in my mind, but...
Who do you think passed them on?
Well, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I'm not prepared to say so, but I'm not sure. All I know is that a number of people had access to them. Rod McGeoch, John Coates, Michael Knight would have seen them from the Sydney bid documents.
Do you consider them suspects?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there were a number of people besides me that had these documents. Quite a number of people, a lot of other people besides the ones I've just mentioned.
But you believe they're genuine documents, particularly the typewritten notes of yours and the handwritten notes below them by your partner Patricia Rosenbrock?
Well, as far as I can see, some of the documents were prepared by us when we were stationed in Europe on behalf of the bid, and we would send back weekly reports to the Sydney office, and some of those notes are there. And when we sent them to Sydney, that was the last we saw of them. But the notes themselves, some of them I've seen before, as I said. Many of them I've never seen before.
If you have no knowledge about how they ended up in Salt Lake City, does Patricia know?
I wouldn't think so.
Why did you both write dossiers on IOC members?
Well, it's a practice that's done by every bidding city. They're not, I wouldn't refer to them to as a dossier, but more a voting pattern. If we're not out in the field trying to win votes and lobby votes, and we don't keep an assessment of who is likely to vote for us, then we're not doing our job.
Were you asked to write these notes by anyone involved in Salt Lake City's bid campaign?
No, not at all, definitely not.
Are you aware that anyone was asked to provide material by Sydney's bid for Salt Lake City?
No.
What about a third party representing Salt Lake City? Did anyone come to you and say, can you help us out?
No, no.
To make it clear, did Tom Welsh or Dave Johnson, the two disgraced members of the Salt Lake City bid, did they ask you to provide them with information?
Certainly not.
And no one that you know of from Salt Lake City or an intermediary asked you to provide information to them?
Oh, definitely not.
In one of Ms. Rosenbrock's notes, she says that the wife of the Danish IOC member should be included in any talks. Was she referring specifically to Salt Lake City? There's a reference there to Tom and Dave. Tom Welsh, Dave Johnson.
I don't know. It wouldn't have that connotation, but obviously it was just meant to talk to her. She was obviously supporting, her husband was obviously supporting Sydney.
But there couldn't have been any other Tom and Dave in the Olympic world who would fit the bill?
Obviously not, but I'm not sure.
All this information comes after allegations that you accepted expensive gifts from Salt Lake City and then the Athens jewellery affair. I mean, where does this leave you, do you believe, in the public's eyes?
I know that I'm getting a huge amount of support from my friends and people that I don't even know. I'm getting letters of the same vein. I'm getting it from a huge number of sports people, athletes, people related to sport, and former Olympians. It's been very encouraging in some very dark days.
How confident are you that you will be cleared as a result of the ongoing investigations by the International Olympic Committee into your conduct?
In relation to this episode, I'm very confident because I know I've done nothing wrong in this degree. This is something, and the timing is also very coincidental, the same as the other issues.
The Athens material and the Salt Lake City material?
The timing was done at the same time when the IOC were meeting. Then all of a sudden, guess what? Here they go again.
So you believe there's a conspiracy?
That's right. There has been, and I know that it has been. I've got enough evidence that I can refer to. I can assure you of that, with the Athens one, and having seen the documents now that I'm beginning to put a picture together that maybe I can work that one out too in time.
So you think you know who's behind it, but you're not willing to say it publicly?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
But you've narrowed it down.
I've narrowed it down to a few, yes, but time will tell.
You say that you're interested in the Olympics generally. Mr. Holway says this whole controversy involving you is damaging the Sydney Olympics. Tickets will go on sale at the end of May. Surely, wouldn't it be in the best interests of the games that you love for you to go now and end the pain?
And Phil Coles won't have any bearing whatsoever on ticket sales. Phil Coles had no bearing on 108 or whatever it was, 1,000 people attending the doubleheader at the Sydney Stadium. Phil Coles had no bearing on the huge number of people that turned up to walk through the stadium, just to walk through the stadium. Michael Knight acknowledged this on the same day that all these people turned up to walk through the stadium. He said that, it's not affected by this silly IOC nonsense.
But he also does say that the problems with the organising committee is raising sponsorship is in part related to the IOC's problems in terms of the conduct of members, and he includes you in that you've cost us sponsorship dollars.
Yes, I agree that the general overall problem that the IOC has suffered has caused a problem. The IOC is addressing those problems. The IOC has taken very stern measures to see that it doesn't happen again. Everyone acknowledges that.
But would you agree that you have cost Sydney money in terms of that you are a part of the problems in terms of the conduct of the IOC members recently, and that has been given as a factor why sponsorship revenue has been cut?
No, Kevin, not me personally. Yes, I've said the overall picture may do, but not me personally. I attended a very big sporting function last Sunday. I had lunch with two of our major sponsors. You know what they said to me? They said, Phil, keep your chin up, you're doing a great job. Hang in.
And you're not for moving. Unless the IOC remove you as a member of that committee, you will stay no matter what.
When I'm cleared, or if I'm not cleared, then will be the time. Surely people are judged on something and then an action taken. They don't come to you and say, that loaf of bread has been stolen, you're guilty, before somebody goes through the process to make sure whether the person's guilty or not. That's all I'm asking for, and Michael Knight should stop this persecution and give me a fair go. That's all I'm asking.
Phil Coles there speaking with the ABC's Olympic reporter Kevin Wild, and it's a story that's sure to continue well into next week. Now let's check the scores from overnight. Before we join David Mackay and the team for the SANFL Match of the Day, here's part of a video presentation from the England 2006 bid team, which is hoping to secure soccer's World Cup in 7 years' time. I'll see you again next week.
He's got a put through by Steve. Clever little ball in. He's in on James. And it's a great Beckham, great cross of edge. By Arnold. Colmoni. His round rudder. Parler changing the face of it. Just can't stop it. Walks through the defence. Position. Oh, that is a magnificent goal. Great move from Derby.
English football, the game the world wants to watch. England, a country where football is not only the national game, but the national obsession. Full of passion, laughter, and tears. A unique experience.